My name is Silas, Silas the Ghost Walker. You can find me meandering two of England's most haunted quarters, the lanes in Brighton and in Covent Garden, London's theatreland. But a tale from Brighton. There you will find an area known of as the Old Steam. It was once an area of common land used by the fishing folk. But sadly they were moved on when Brighton became a fashionable resort, and gravel paths were laid down for the upper classes to promenade. But it is on the Old Steam where you will find Brighton's most horrific apparition. That of the one-time adventurer and soldier of fortune, Sir John Robinson. It's interesting to note that Robinson bore a remarkable resemblance to a character of popular fiction, who I'm sure many of you will have heard of, called the Scarlet Pimpernel, a character created by Emma Otzi, an English nobleman who rescued many a beleaguered French aristocrat throughout the French Revolution. And Robinson did same, but after a time he grew a little weary of these adventures and entered into something that would prove to be his undoing. He travelled to Persia, where as a mercenary soldier became involved in a civil war. But he backed the wrong side and was captured, along with several thousand other rebels, by the infamous Agfa Muhammad. And in retribution, Agfa demanded 20,000 pairs of eyes. Robinson was subjected to the most horrendous torture, which culminated in him having his eyes gouged out with hot irons. Nasty. But he didn't die. No, the poor fellow was thrown onto the streets of Tehran to become a beggar, until discovered some years later by a kindly English merchant who took pity on him and brought him back to England. Somehow, it is said, Robinson made his way back to Brighton, where he lay down on the Old Steam and died before an inquisitive group of onlookers. Those who saw him would never forget his horrifically mutilated face with eyes gouged out so deep that the bone of his skull was said to be visible, with maggots eating away at the flesh. Well, he has turned up there on a number of occasions down the centuries. In fact, it was not long since that a police officer on the beat thought he saw a tramp lying in the road and went to assist the man. The horrific face that confronted the officer sent him reeling in horror to be physically sick. On turning back, the man had gone. And likewise a poor woman, having left the Theatre Royal one evening on crossing the Steam, also found herself confronted by this awesome creature. The poor woman was so overcome with fear she fell into a faint, only to awake some time later in the Royal Sussex Hospital, where she remained in order to overcome her shock. Such was Robinson's notoriety in Victorian times that a local wordsmith penned these lines. Don't ye dally, darling dear, in Brighton city clear, the ghost of old John Robinson be waiting for ye there. If you look into his face, you'll end your days that night, for he'll steal your eyes from you to give a beggar sight. And if he turns up on the Old Steam, it's always around about midnight.